You are watching the number one podcast in the whole entire youth wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Laec.
Together we are
Road Break.
How's every single one of you in this Sunday night? Time to talk about Hell in a Cell 2021, pay-per-view that normally takes place on October, but now it occurs in June. No, WWE gave me a nice birthday. I don't know. We're going to talk about everything, And before we start that, Paul, how you doing? And everybody also, happy Father's Day for the family that watches, Facebook, on YouTube, every single one of you. The ones that are fathers, hey, happy Father's Day for every single one of you. Paul, your impressions about this Hell in a Cell 2021?
Yeah, and also just want to reiterate what you said, happy Father's Day, all the fathers, part of the Rope Break family and everybody out there watching, Facebook, YouTube land. But, before we get into this pay-per-view, though, we just, before we start on the downhill and start, getting angry for how bad this was, because they did take us to hell. Drew said he was taking Bobby to hell. Well, he took us to hell with him because this was not a good show. But before we talk about that, there's something we definitely want to address, and that's show it up, throw the picture up.
Right there, yep.
Well, go ahead, take the floor.
Family, we want to thank you because we broke our first 1,000 subscribers right here on YouTube. So we're really excited. We want to thank every single one of you that been with us, for this long ride. Jean-Paul and myself started out on November 2019. Survivor Series is when we decided to go full throttle with this. We wanted to cover every single thing. We wanted to cover every single show, and we've been doing this, for almost a year and a half. And to be at 1,000 subscribers is really encouraging, is really inspiring, and we're going to keep going for every single one of you. We love it, and it's been a hell of a ride. And, only the future has better things for us. So, we finally get to, indie scene. Now we're ready to, choose where we're going to go. AEW, WWE, Impact, or maybe NWA. We're going to
exactly. We're finally getting paid more than a hot dog and a handshake.
Yeah, exactly. That's how we started it. Exactly. Pato says, Ada, familia. Pato, ¿cómo estás? Muchas gracias por apoyarnos. 1,000 suscripciones para todos los que nos ven en español también. Muchas gracias, familia. So, Paul, we're really excited about this. So we want to say thank you so much. 1,000 subscribers, family. Please keep doing so. The ones that haven't, the ones that I've seen, the videos right now, the new to the original Road Break. Hey, give us a subscription. We put content every single day, and, we love it. We love every single one of you. We want to thank everybody that has been on the show, people that we have interviewed, like a Papa Straw, Catherine Stutz, everybody that has been there, like referees, people like wrestlers, everybody that has been in the show. Also, like Lee Walker, people, sometimes they mind, it forgets about some names, but everybody that has been in this show because, we didn't think that we were going to get this far so soon. So thank you to every single one of you. Any words, Paul?
No, I mean, you pretty much said it. There's pretty much just thank you guys. And, please stick around because we ain't going anywhere besides up. And we're only going to get bigger, add more stuff to the channel. So, stay tuned. That's all I can really say.
Paul,
this is just the beginning.
A lot of people are starting asking about the toys. Please support Jean-Paul also, in his new endeavors, like JP Toy on Instagram. That's what it is, Paul?
Yeah, JP _toy chest. Yep, my new
toy chest,
toy
for the
Instagram,
toy collectors, really great stuff. Like Power Rangers, the Masters of the Universe, He-Man, really cool stuff that we all grew up with it. We love it. That's pretty much our childhood, and we still love it. So we're really appreciating that also. So please help Jean-Paul. We all want to keep growing, and then if you want more toy video of the toys or collections and all of that, please tell us. We'll keep delivering that. So now that we have that all the way, thank you one more time, family. Really excited to be on 1,000. Paul, this Hell in a Cell, like you said, this pay-per-view, normally we're really excited about it, but up to so many years, we really don't care about it as much. Why? Because the Hell in a Cell, the meaning of it, is completely lost. Remember, every single big rivalry, every single thing that it was just the end of a really big storyline, a long a year and a half. That was the end of it. Now any single match can end on Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, and there's a lot of factors into it. One, it's because now it's become a yearly pay-per-view where it's just a feud has to be in a Hell in a Cell match, whether it deserves to be or not. And also a big thing is, back then when it felt legit, the promos weren't scripted. These guys, okay, this is a feud. This is why you hate each other. Go out there and tell the story. And they were able to cut these legit promos and build this feud. Nowadays, it's scripted promos. Everybody sounds so robotic, so shitty. Nothing sounds serious enough to even warrant a Hell in a Cell match. I would say besides Drew and Bobby, I think that was the only one that really deserved it. Even Ray and Roman really didn't deserve it, but we're like, okay, it's a Universal Championship match. It makes sense. But like, you know, there was really only one feud that should have been in it besides the one we said Cesaro and Rollins, but we'll get to how they ruined that match and that feud. You know,
exactly. We're going to go to everything. You're absolutely right, Paul. So like before we get to that, also like family, don't forget to check all the videos that we do, because like I said, we put every single thing in professional wrestling. You see, you know, you think of it, we have it. There you go. Smackdown, like Jean-Paul was mentioning. Roman Reigns takes another victim with Rey Mysterio. The match was pretty decent. You know, we actually felt that, you know, Rey looked really good. It's still relevant for what it is, you know, like his age and everything. And Roman actually looks really strong. A lot of people are asking, you know, like Roman's like this new heel turn and everything is actually working out. Yes, it is, because a lot of people are loving this new side of Roman Reigns. So very excited about this. And, you know, also like, you know, tell me a little bit about the AEW Dynamite, Paul. I know it's not the greatest show in the world, but we cover it.
Yeah, I mean, Dynamite, you know, what really can you say? They're giving us the same thing every week, the same. Okay, you have a match, you have a tag match, you have a feud, it ends, there's a run-in, you know, things just don't make sense. We see Omega and Jungle Boy, you know, they're ready to collide, but we already know the outcome. We already know Tony Khan has all his eggs in the Kenny Omega basket. This match means nothing. They built it up, you know, and just, you know, I don't know. I'm not excited, and I feel Dynamite, I always say it, they have the right tools and they have the right players. They just don't know how to put the story together and the matches and the feuds, you know, to make this show good. And I feel, especially with this new time slot, they've pretty much given up. But I do think next week, hopefully they get it back together, because they are touting it as like a special Saturday show and it's supposed to be big. So hopefully it is, but I don't know. These past couple of weeks, Dynamite's just been a mess.
It has been really bad, but like you said, like please be with us for that, because we're going to be live also for that AEW Dynamite, you know, like Jungle Boy against Kenny Omega. A lot of people don't believe our Jungle Boy, Paul. I know you're a fan. I think that, like, you know, because it's a little short, smaller, but hey, I said in the review also, like, it's the future. So you got to play your cards on that. So, you know, just check that video out, family. Hell in a Cell started out with the pre-show. Always, you know, we got to see a match that doesn't make sense, does it not make sense? Hey, you know, we got to see a match. It started out like the show, actually, WWE is changing, like, the structure, because now, like, the pre-show is at 7 and the pay-per-view is at 8. They were doing this in the pandemic time, kind of like at 6, the pre-show, and the 7, like the main event. But now we got to see Natalya and Mandy Rose. They have a stare down. Seems like this is going to be a feud for the tag titles. So, like, did you like this match? To me, you know, hey, at least Natalya looks decent, looks credible. And Mandy actually did not look bad. She's becoming better in the ring a little bit more, you know, as the matches keep going on.
Yeah, well, what was the one show? I think it was an NXT show that, you know, I told you, I kind of got here a little bit late. I think I might have missed the pre-show. Well, I'm going to have to use that excuse again tonight. I'm going to assume Natalya won.
Yes.
You know, but I was going to say, yeah, I did not see this match, but, you know, I was excited. Excited is probably not the right word, but I was like, you know, okay with them feuding with Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose, because I'm like, at least the two of them look like a tag team, and, you know, they've been a team for a while now, so it's cool for them to go against the tag champs. But, you know, this is, I guess, a good way to kind of, you know, really kick that feud off.
Well, yeah, it is. You know, like we got to see this, and Natalya at the beginning taking like the beginning that she was dominating the match, you know, but then Mandy equalized it. Mandy had a lot of opportunities to win the match, actually, like the big Nick strike that she does. That's kind of like one of her finishers. She tried to go for like the Widow's Bell, like very similar move that what Tommaso Ciampa does, and like the fairy tale ending. She couldn't do that. Natalya countered that, but in the end, you get to see like the sharpshooter into Mandy Rose. 1, 2, 3. I mean, she ends up tapping out. Natalya gets the win. Are they going to feud for the titles? It seems like they're going to do that. Hey, I mean, at least like you said, both teams make sense. You know, blondes in Dana Brooke and Mandy, and also like, hey, they're trying to get that championship. And of course, the lineage with Natalya and also with Tamina. Like, it makes sense. And, you know, you don't have a lot of tag teams in this division. They're going to wait for, like, after SummerSlam for the draft. Go ahead.
The only thing to make this actually interesting is because the feud, you know, you had Natalya and Tamina, they were in the ring training, and the other two were getting a photo shoot, and they said, you only have your job because you're hot blondes, and they said, you only have your job because of your last names. So maybe you should have did something where Dana kind of punched Natalya with like brass knuckles, or maybe not use the weapon, but cheated somehow. Mandy Rose gets the win, so you get heat, and also establish the blondes as the heels.
Yes.
Because now, okay, Natalya beat her, so why should they get a title opportunity?
Yes, exactly.
You know, you lost here, so they should have cheated and stuff. But it's a pre-show match nobody watched. Yeah,
Mandy should have got the win, exactly. So like for the ones that are seeing, you know, Mandy got the win. So I mean, Natalia got the win, but now let's go to the main show. You know, we wanted Mandy at least. You know, to like story makes sense. But now Hell in a Cell opened up with like this match that was announced on SmackDown that was going to be inside Hell in a Cell. Bayley against Bianca Belair. Paul, a really quick question: did you like this better than Sasha Banks and Bayley from a few months ago, or no?
No, I mean, this match, it wasn't bad, but I just couldn't get into it. I don't know if like they were just awkward working in there or what it was, but it's just like the whole like going after the hair and all this stuff. And I don't know, the match, it felt like, I like to use a term like you said, it never picked up, like it never kicked up into like that gear. Like you're just waiting for it. Okay. And then, you know, not to jump to the ending, because we can definitely go back and talk about it, but it was just, oh, she picked her up and it hit a KOD on the ladder, 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, wait, it's over? Like it never felt like it reached that climactic point, at least for me.
I think that like for me, like it had its parts where like it really like you see the action, it was brutal. Like Bayley looked like a really like violent and mean to like Bianca Belair. I think that like Bayley looked on fire, even like more than when like she did with Sasha Banks in a few months ago. But like I don't know, like a few spots maybe didn't come out the way that they wanted it to come out, and then you know just Hell in a Cell and they have so many toys to use that. But I feel that in the end, yeah, Bianca Belair like was supposed to win. We knew that there was not going to be a title switch. And Bayley like made Bianca look good though. And also, if you think about it, Paul, this year for Bianca Belair, imagine that. Wins the Royal Rumble, wins the title of WrestleMania, and in her first Hell in a Cell, she actually wins also. So it's been a pretty great year for Bianca Belair.
Oh,
This spot, Sunset Power Bomb?
Yeah, no, that was legit. I mean, that was good. And I agree with you everything with Bayley. I thought Bayley looked really good in here, but it was just Bianca. And, you know, I still am a big fan of Bianca, but I think, you know, her as a baby face, it just doesn't work. And it's her even in the matches, because she can work as a heel. She can be like, you know, kick you when you're down. She can be like snotty, like a really just like evil heel. But when she's a baby face, I don't know, just working with Bayley, some stuff, they just didn't click like her, Bayley and Sasha did. But I do agree with you with like how Bayley was ruthless in this match. Like you said, using the weapons, you know, that spot like there through the 4 kendo sticks.
I think that was nice though. Yeah. See, like some of the creativity that they have in the match was really good. You know, like for example, they tried to not completely use the cage because, and unfortunately, nobody uses the cage anymore. And that was the beauty of Hell in a Cell. That was what it was created, like you know, demonic structure and all of that. That was all those names. But unfortunately, they don't do that anymore. But in this case, in a few spots, they actually made me believe, you know, they were trying to go for that. So that was okay.
Unfortunately, I mean, it is kind of cool, but it's also like lame. I wish there wasn't so many spots where it's like, let's make a bridge out of kendo sticks, or let's do this. I mean, you know, you can have a couple chairs, maybe 1 or 2 kendo sticks, and that's it. That you said it should be more using the cage. Like people should get thrown into the cage and actually sell it like they did before.
But, yeah, yeah. Like instead of like coming up with like all this, but I feel it's like because they feel like limited when it comes to that. But like you said, like this, we got to see also like the hair she used that. Like she actually tied her hair at some point like on Bayley, and then she started like clotheslining her. So that was okay. Bayley, like you said, trying to dominate. And any point in the match, though, I thought Bayley was going to win. So that's the thing. Is like when you with Sasha, it was like back and forth. You see power out after power out. But like you said, in the end, Bianca Belair, like the big KOD onto the ladder. 1, 2, 3, she beats Bayley, and you know we get to see still Bianca as the champ. Are we happy? Well, you know this title reign has not been that great either. The feud can actually Bayley's been the one that is holding this, you know, whole feud. I mean Bayley like being all like crazy, you know, remember the laughing and all of that, like being all unhinged. So are we hoping for another match here, or like maybe Becky Lynch comes out soon, Paul?
You gotta do something to shake up this division, because Bayley, this is. Now, we've seen what happens. You know, that doesn't mean a feud won't continue after this, but usually WWE is pretty good, and a feud ends in Hell in a Cell. You usually don't see it continue. So I think Bayley, you know, I don't know what you're going to do with her, but you got to do something with Sasha. With Sasha. Maybe that's what they'll do. They'll bring Sasha
Sasha's
back.
Coming back, too. So, like, you're right on that.
But you got to do something with Bianca, you know, whether it's Carmella, you know, you just got to have something for her, because you can't feud with Bayley anymore. I think it's done. And I guess the real question is, what do you do with Bayley? Do you just, okay, you don't see her for a couple of weeks, and she comes back, and, you know, but who else is there? You know who? Liv Morgan? Is she going to beat up Liv Morgan? Like, you know, there's nothing on this division. They need a shakeup. They need to add a lot more, you know, women, or at least feature a lot more.
Well, what it is, I think, Paul, and you probably would agree with me, is like they need to build more women up to that spot that you can believe that they can challenge for a title.
Yeah.
Because there's always one. You know, that you never get to see, maybe Bailey might not win it, but we get, hey, is it Liv Morgan's turn?
Like but honestly, who else is there in the women's division? You have Bailey, Bianca, Carmella, and Liv. And
That's
then,
it.
And Sasha. And then, Sasha, if she comes back. Okay, you have Natalya and Tamina, but they're the tag champs, so they're on Raw automatically. Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to do that, but like, you know, Bianca Belair, so she was asked about like her thoughts about winning the match, winning her first Hell in a Cell. She's like, hey, you know what? It was a really rough match, which it was. I believe that, and she did a good job. But for me, I feel that her performance was good, and you know, she keeps the title, so she's excited. Hey, you know, we thought that there was going to be a title switch, but Bailey one more time showing that she can carry that heel spot, and then she's becoming better and better. Bailey for me is, you know, like just that woman that you see, like the heel turn was the best thing she could ever done in her career, because now she can be in any single stipulation match, and the way, the intensity that she has, her violence, the way that she delivers every single move, everything really
look,
good, you know.
Well, look how she, I mean, besides WrestleMania where she was a joke, unfortunately, look how she main evented. The champ for the longest time, main evented all the, like Raw, NXT, you know, all these shows. She, you know, then feuded with the champs for how long? So she's been relevant really since the heel turn, and you know, since becoming champ.
Yeah.
So like you said, you know, that it was definitely the best thing for her career. If she would have been like John Cena, I'll never turn, she would have been future endeavored, you know, 2 years ago.
It would have been, it would have been already like kicked out, like Ruby Riott, everybody. Like, yeah, you're right, because like she did not have that like diversity. She did not have like this thing that she could be like a heel baby face and show like,
you know, and you know what? Maybe that's before we move on. Maybe that's something they're going to do too. Maybe she's going to get in another quick feud, lose it, and somehow turn babyface.
At some point, yeah, they're going to have to, like you said, because like how the heel turn can just go so long without a title. Because when you have the title, then you can keep pushing that. But that was the first match, family. Then we got to see a little bit of a promo where like Bobby Lashley, yeah. I have the girls. That's how my birthday should have been. You know, that's Jean Paul right there and me. But, you know, we don't have the titles or anything like that, unfortunately. But that's where we're going to see the champion. Also, we got to see Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is just talking about how Lily still is on timeout. And you know why, Paul? Because, like, a lot of people are saying that the storyline is really stupid. And, you know, I feel that, like, and also, like, they're saying that, you know, like, a doll really, you know, like, and you know how, like, society nowadays, like, tend to be really sensitive with certain things. So that's why they completely, like, nixing that idea. And that's why she said, hey, you know, like, when you knock on the door, you don't know who's going to answer. So you see, like, this is still going to be something with, like, Shayna Baszler. We'll see what happens on that. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But let's talk about this next match. That, for me, that ruined the whole pay-per-view. You know, I was actually looking forward for this because even Mick Foley, Paul, in the Broken Skull Sessions, a video that you're going to see really, really soon, family, he nailed down. He was on his knees asking Vince McMahon to give Cesaro an opportunity. And is it going to become an opportunity, or his push is over? Tell me a little bit about this match.
I mean, I still want to say, even though the main event was good, it was way too long. I'll talk about the main event when we get there, but this was probably the best match on the card again, because both these guys are fantastic. But man, the ending just killed it. And like you said, that funk that it got you in, that just like, so like, you know, it was just like, okay, we were excited for the show. We get the ending we got in this match, and that feeling of just like, this show's going to suck just continued pretty much all the way to the end. And, you know, it was true, because of 2 non-title matches that we got following this were completely useless.
Yeah.
And, you know, the title matches ended kind of shitty. So, yeah, I mean, the match itself was really good. You know, Cesaro and Seth Rollins, they have such good chemistry. I love, like, all the spots when he countered the knee stomp into the, I think he hit like a neutralizer, not a neutralizer.
He was going for like he did a power slam in the one, and then he was trying to go for the neutralizer. He did the uppercut also. So yeah, really cool chemistry between the two. Seth Rollins, like, debuted a few moves also. Remember when he was trying to go for like one of the neutralizers, and then he did like a back kick. He did a kick to the neck.
He did an enziguri, which I love how Michael Cole actually called it correctly. He's like, oh, an enziguri. And then you hear Pat McAfee's like, or a Pele kick. I'm like, no, it wasn't.
You know, McAfee for me, you know, boys, when he's like dancing to Nakamura, that's the only thing that I appreciate for him. You know, for me, it's irrelevant. But like you said, yeah, like there was a lot of good chemistry. those two, like, they know how to give you good matches, and also like they give new moves, they give new sequences, so they actually, you see the development in this type of matches.
Yeah, and he did the. I mean, the best part to me was, he did the Cesaro swing about 15 times, and then I forget if he went right into the sharpshooter or how he got there, but I love that sequence. He's in the sharpshooter, Rollins won't tap. Then he goes down to the crossface and he's choking him in that, and it looks like Rollins is going to roll him up, but actually Cesaro rolls back on top in the center of the ring. Really yanks back that crossface, and you're like, oh my God, he's done. Then Cesaro stands back up, puts him in the sharpshooter again. And, I'm just thinking, this is it. He's really going to just wear this guy down, his legs, his back, his neck. He's just going to completely wear him out to when Rollins says, I give up, which will be Rollins admitting he's done with Cesaro because he's pretty much obsessed with him at this point. That's why he wants to keep fighting him. So you would think when he says, I give up, that means he actually gives up this feud with Cesaro. But no, we don't see that, because we see, Rollins, he just rolls up Cesaro, 1, 2, 3, and that's it.
And that bothered me. That bothered the hell out of me, Paul.
It was the worst, just flattest ending. You see Cesaro even looking around like, was I just screw jobbed? I mean, obviously nothing like that, but the look on his face was like, are you kidding me? Especially because Cesaro is, I would say a more technical wrestler. That's how he's built. Oh, he's a great wrestler. He works hard to be here. All the training he's done. Wouldn't you think that that's how he should have beat Rollins if it came down to it? Not Rollins beating him with a roll up. If anything, Rollins should have like kicked him in the balls or something and been like, oh, he cheated. Okay, now there'll be another match. But to win clean like that in the middle of the ring is just. But now I think Rollins said they're even on matches. So it's like, okay, probably Money in the Bank, they'll have a match.
Yeah, like Money in the Bank is going to be probably bad. I don't understand. Like, Cesaro should have won. Like that was going to be at least like a push for him, and then you can see Roman one more time in the horizon. That would have been a much better idea, because giving Rollins the win, what is Rollins doing? Rollins, you're not going to feud him against Roman anytime soon. Why? Because he's heel. So what is the point of doing this? And like you said,
unless I was going to say the only thing is maybe they can't get The Rock or John Cena. And all these people are, they're like, so what do we do? And they're like, let's do Rollins. And they got to start building Rollins. I don't really know.
It could be that. It could be that. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that like that's the way that you should do this. Like, Cesaro is on fire. Like, remember how hot he was coming out from WrestleMania. They have the match with Roman. There was not even, like any single thing to back it up. There was no continuation with that storyline. It was like, yeah, I lost. You lost. Whatever. Yeah, bye, dude. Okay, and now he's just going back to Rollins. So I don't know. I don't like this. That took away a lot from me, the anticipation that I have for this. Because just, Cesaro deserves that type of push. It didn't happen, but, Rollins gets the win. We'll see what they do on SmackDown. They have a lot of work to do. I mean, there's a lot of rumors that Aleister Black may be coming back one more time. They said that he was spotted backstage on, like, Hell in a Cell. So we'll see what happens on there. And, next time that we see on pay-per-view, family, is going to be on Sunday. It's going to be July 18 for Money in the Bank. So like you said, they might have the match there. And that will probably be the end of it. Because we thought that like this feud actually deserved to be Hell in a Cell. Remember?
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
It didn't happen that way.
But thank God it didn't. If we would have got the ending that we would have got.
Oh, well, if it would have been like that, it would have been really bad. But like, remember what we mentioned about this, roll up. So remember that. Keep that in mind, because that's going to be, brought up pretty really soon in the show. Let's go to we go to bad. Let's go to really worse. Alexa Bliss against Shayna Baszler. If you're Shayna Baszler and you're one of the most dominant champions in the history of NXT, how would you feel if you're going to lose to Alexa Bliss, somebody that hypnotizes people? So that's a really bad thing. I don't think. I mean, a lot of people, even Liv Morgan, like put on Twitter that she loves what they're doing with Alexa Bliss. At some point, it was cool. Not anymore. I don't think that it's cool anymore. I just don't think that they dropped the ball.
When she was the hot possessed chick standing next to the Fiend, it worked. In the ring, beating some people, okay, it'll work. Beating Shayna Baszler, this was awful. Twisted Bliss from the top, 1, 2, 3. Nia Jax screamed about something. I don't know.
She was hypnotized at some point. That's pretty much
to me. But I couldn't get into this. I couldn't care less. That's when I started, doing other stuff. While I just, listened to what was going on, because I didn't care, because I knew Alexa Bliss was going to win. This match was pointless. That's all I have to say.
When they dropped out, like Shayna Baszler, there's something wrong. I mean, I understand, but like the storyline, you're dropping the ball. They said that the Fiend Bray Wyatt is coming back, in August. So like supposedly he's being kept off TV because there's a reason, because they really wanted like to redesign his character one more time, because they know that like they've dropped the ball with Bray Wyatt so many times. They have to just refreshing the character so people can get behind him. So then 2 months after go by, and then one more time he's just dropped out one more time. So this you got to see like Shayna Baszler dominating at the beginning, completely taking care of Alexa Bliss, but the hypnotizing abilities start to come out with like her, also with like Reginald, also with Nia Jax, like you said. Then she will get the upper hand. In the end, Kira for a clutch. She got out of that. She tried for the DDT. That didn't work out for Alexa. Like you got to see a little bit more action. See, like every time she got punched out, you got to see her laughing because she doesn't feel pain. That's what the story they're trying to tell me. Is it really working? Not much. Like you said, Nia Jax and her like stare down. Like you see, she takes care of Reginald, which was funny. And then Twisted Bliss, she gets the win. Alexa Bliss actually beats Shayna Baszler. This is bad. This is bad because Shayna Baszler had a lot of stocks when Paul Heyman was in charge of Raw. Vince McMahon till this day does not understand who Shayna Baszler is. I don't think that like he knows how to push her. Remember the feud with Becky Lynch? She was actually the one like biting people. She was actually the vampire. Now she gets like just hypnotized, unfortunately. And Alexa Bliss, the character right now is dull for me. Nobody wants to see it. For me, like you said, when the beginning was cool. Now that there's no Fiend Bray Wyatt, still no. I don't want to see that anymore. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I see enough of it on Raw. Like I said, I'm done with this match.
You get to see Monday Night Raw. Yeah, next. So like you're right. So now let's go to the next one. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. This match was actually one of the best matches of the night. I feel that like both of them like knew that like nobody was paying attention to this. So it's like, how do we make ourselves be meaningful one more time? How do we make people pay attention to what we're doing? So they actually delivered for me. It was a really interesting match. Like I said, the winner maybe not made a lot of sense, but when it comes to match quality, these two know how to, put good matches. Why? Because they're best friends. So
yeah, I mean, they did. Yeah, these guys definitely had the chemistry. And, it was good because going into it, it's like, oh, is Kevin Owens? Is he 100%? Can he breathe okay? After the Nigerian nail, all this stuff, or Nigerian spike, whatever it is. And, Sami Zayn, he was able to take advantage and, look really good in this, because of all that. And, it, like you said, they have chemistry. And in this match, this is is this the blow off? Is this, the final match between these two? They're going to finally settle all their differences. And you're saying all this stuff and you think, okay, like, no brainer, Kevin Owens is going to win, right? He's the guy they're pushing, right? No, nope. That wasn't the case. Nope. Sami Zayn, it was just, haluva kick, or, 1, 2, 3. And then it's just like, so, I mean, at least that's how I felt. I love seeing Sami Zayn win this thing. But
he can't even believe it. See? Yeah. That's how we look after a pay-per-view like this. That's how we look. Like,
yeah, I mean, this was good, but then you think, well, is that really how it's going to end? Are you really going to – because what do you do with Sami Zayn then?
Yeah.
Okay, so he wins this. Shouldn't he challenge Apollo? That would be the next logical thing, right? Is he just going to lose to Apollo? Because then why didn't you just have Kevin Owens win and then Kevin Owens beat Apollo? You know what I mean? It doesn't – it's what do you do with it? Unless this feud's going to continue, which nobody wants to see that because nobody wanted to see it here. Was it good? Yes, but we've seen it so many other times. It's like,
yes.
It wasn't good enough that we're going to remember it in a week from now.
Yes, and that's the big problem is, like you said, what happens afterwards, because it doesn't matter whether it's a great match or not, but like the outcome, the afterwards, the aftermath of that. But like we don't know what's going to be like with Sami Zayn. Are they going to have another match? I don't think so. Adam Pearce said this is going to be the final blow. Hopefully the blow off of the feud, because I don't want to keep seeing it. It wasn't supposed to happen at WrestleMania. It wasn't supposed to happen here. But, at least in the end, Sami Zayn gets the win. That's the only reason I feel okay with it. Because, Kevin Owens, like, unfortunately, the guy is really talented, in every single aspect of being a wrestler. But unfortunately, for some odd reason, they don't want him to be in a main event spot. You know that. And when
I don't know if it's his look. Because you got to think, everybody who's been a WWE champion has been big and jacked. Unless you're AJ, then you're small and jacked, but at least you're still jacked. But when you look at Kevin Owens, he's really not that. Maybe that's the only thing that, Vince says, hey, man, until you look like Roman or Drew, I'm not putting the belt on you.
Yes, exactly. And, you got to see Sami Zayn whispering to Pat McAfee how, finally justice has been made today. Justice is made because he won a match. And we kind of believe that because he never wins. But like you said, it's like something is holding back Kevin Owens. We don't know what that is. Hopefully we kind of understand. Remember we said like he should be feuding for the IC belt against Apollo. This is not happening, and every time that they do, he loses really quick. So it is not really looking really great for Kevin Owens. He should be the ones that, like, if he ever gets released, go to Impact, go to AEW, or somewhere else where they treat you better. I don't know if Tony Khan's going to do that. They want to see Jungle Boy against Kenny Omega, but what do we know? Let's go to the next one. That match quality extremely great. I feel that like these two girls also a lot of great chemistry. The match was not as great as the one we saw in WrestleMania last year, but it's still we get to see a Charlotte Flair that like start using a lot of like the arsenal that Andrade El Idolo Cien Almas had. So that's really cool to see at least the girl is supporting the man. And a Rhea Ripley that her championship reign has looked just a bit stale outside of this rivalry. I feel that like that's the only thing that keeps the holding this championship reign. And what do you think?
Yeah, and obviously with the outcome we saw, this feud is definitely going to continue. This was no way the end of it. Before it even rang, Charlotte, she went after Rhea Ripley and everything. So it was just kind of like, oh, what's going on here? You see, like you said, you see that aggression from Charlotte. She, like they said, she feels disrespected, all this stuff from Rhea. And the match was good, but just, again, this was another one where the ending absolutely, made the whole match pointless.
Yes. Exactly.
Just the ending to just in a DQ. I'm like, what that wouldn't have been a DQ in any other match. You know what I mean? It was just, they should have did something different. That's when you should have pulled out a kendo stick, used a chair, used the belt, done whatever, not just hit off the plastic thing on the announce desk.
And like you said, in any other match, it would have never been DQ, but for some reason you needed to keep this feud going because that like on Monday Night Raw, there's nothing else. Although you have a story burning, you have a story cooking right there when what it is Nikki Cross. But you don't believe in Nikki Cross. Why? Because she's short. She does not look nowhere near as near Rhea Ripley or Charlotte. So that's why you will never give him an opportunity, despite the girl can probably wrestle as good or better than both of them combined.
Yeah, and I mean, you know what? I could see them doing this at Money in the Bank, this match. And then maybe that's when you bring a Becky Lynch back to Raw, or maybe she'll be on SmackDown because of Seth Rollins. But, you bring somebody else back. Maybe Sasha's going to be on Raw now. Who knows? Then you'll do a triple threat, with the two of these women and her or something at SummerSlam. But I feel like they're really going to just milk this feud because, like you said, there is no one else.
Yeah, there's nobody else.
Yeah, you just did Asuka, and that's, done. That ship has sailed. So, Charlotte is, she didn't get WrestleMania. She didn't get all this stuff. She might said, I'm going to be this Raw Women's Championship feud until SummerSlam. And they're like, oh, okay. She's like Roman. She gets what she wants.
Look at this. Like when this happened, I thought that like Charlotte was going to win the title because, she did the riptide, but then she got her foot in the rope. And
even when she did like the natural selection and she was kind of using the ropes and then, Rhea kicked out and then, Charlotte was like, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She was even using the ropes and everything.
So at least the climactic like stuff we got to see here. There was action here. There was climax. So I like that. But like you said, like they have to follow like a stupid way of ending the match.
Yeah, and what did you think of like that? You see just that aggression from Charlotte. Like, they're in the ropes. She saws the figure four and they're holding on. He's like 1, 2, 3. It takes Rhea rolling to the floor to like break this pin. Like, the match, it was good because you saw all this aggression from Charlotte. You thought, okay, I honestly thought Charlotte was going to win this match. As I'm watching it at this point, and like I said, you go out, Rhea grabs like the plastic cowl, I think it's called, like a cowl that's on the announce disc. Boom, just like slaps it in Charlotte's face. And I heard the bell ring and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this ain't going to end in a DQ. And then didn't she hit the riptide in the ring?
Yeah.
Again? And then it's like, they're like, oh, she's not worried about getting a pinfall. She's just, worried about retaining her title. Yeah, so obviously, Charlotte Flair won this match, which will just be another thing for her to use to Adam Pearce or whoever to be like, oh, technically I won. I should get another match so I can win the title, blah, blah, blah. Who knows?
Exactly. And, and also, like you said, the winner, Charlotte Flair by DQ. But then she also says, like, Rhea Ripley's like, well, but still the champ. Who's still the champ? Oh, Rhea Ripley. Okay, so there's going to be another match. You know how many championship matches has Charlotte Flair had throughout her career in WWE? 61. 61 times she actually challenged for a title in the WWE. You know how many times Cesaro has had in his tenure in the WWE? One. Just saying. I mean, the girl, nothing to take away from Charlotte Flair. But like, really? So there's no other women. To me, Paul, it's not going to be the greatest feud in the world, but Nikki Cross. Why not? The girl
because when Vince and whoever else looks at her, they're like, okay, she's blonde and she's hot and she can wrestle. So she gives us what we want and she gives the wrestling fans what they want. She can wrestle. So why not push? And the same thing with Rhea. That's why these women, are they good in the ring? Yeah, but obviously their looks have something to do with it. Because you said, Nikki Cross is just as good as anybody. She's not as good as these two. I'm not going to be like, oh, Nikki Cross is great, but she could at least, you could push her. She has that charisma. At least push her for a championship match.
Oh yeah, I would love it. And to me, she's as good. But I defer on that. Like Rhea Ripley for me is not as good. I've never been a big fan of Rhea Ripley. To me, Nikki Cross will be a lot better. But in this match, the feud is okay, but don't finish the match like this. Give me something different. Even Nikki can screw both of them. Who cares? And then I don't want to see a triple threat between the three because why? It doesn't make sense. But at least something instead of, like you said, you grab whatever doesn't make sense, whatever object that like any other type of match you wouldn't even care about, but now you care about.
How would you feel this? Because I feel it's going to happen at some point. Eventually, this title is going to go to Alexa Bliss. It will go there.
Yes.
What if you do a triple threat, even if it's at SummerSlam, the biggest, whatever, party of the summer, they call it. Nikki Cross, Charlotte, and Rhea Ripley. And somehow Nikki Cross pulls off the upset. She wins the next night on Raw. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to do an open challenge, blah, blah, blah. Boom. And then Alexa Bliss wins it.
And that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because it's fresh. It's fresh. I don't care who's seeing that. I'm not going to be so pissed.
Because then she has like a Kane title reign one day.
Yeah, we've seen it before.
Yeah.
Christian, 2 days. Like Rey Mysterio, a few hours. Hey, man, I know you won the match. And, you're a man enough, right? Oh, let's go for a championship opportunity. Oh, you know what? You know what, John? Let's do it. Fucking loses. Like, he ever got a rematch? No. Okay, so do it. But at least keep the storyline.
And then that way you don't have to job out Charlotte or Rhea to Alexa Bliss.
Exactly, because like you said, at some point, before the idea of Lily was next, it was supposed to be that Lily and Alexa were going to be the tag champs.
Oh, that would have killed the belts. That would have killed it completely.
Exactly. So I feel that like because of all the backlash that they had, now they're going to be
WrestleMania backlash.
WrestleMania backlash now can actually hypnotize these people. And that's the big thing because And that's when they completely kill wrestling because, like you said, it has to be more serious. Why, using like their ability, little of
that's why again, and I'll see that stuff when you see a feud like we're about to talk about, Drew and Lashley, that stuff gets brought down when the segment before that is Alexa Bliss sitting on a swing set with the doll.
Yeah, when you see this, when you see this, like, no, I mean, we understand people, we understand family. Happy Father's Day for the fathers. Let's see Alexa Bliss. That's the gift. We know she's hot. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we all know it. But is she talented as an actress? She is. But on this, the character can go so far. And the Fiend not being there, no explanation yet what happened at WrestleMania. So it still is like a very incomplete storyline. It's really hard to get behind something that is very incomplete, So that's why something that is complete, and at least it makes sense. It was the main event. We were all thinking about it because of Roman not being in the main event. Of course, this has to main event because these two guys are nowhere near as good as Roman.
And I would have said even if that was on the show, like Roman says he likes to go first or go last, I think Roman would have went first, and this would have been the main event.
Yeah,
I think just because the Mysterio feud wasn't that legit.
No, we said in the reviews, please, every single reviews in the show, in this channel, please subscribe, comment, let us know what you guys feel about this Hell in a Cell 2021. And like you said, Paul, like this better than the one with Randy Orton, or less for Drew McIntyre, his second time on Hell in a Cell.
I mean, it's hard to say. This one had a lot. My only problem with this match is it had every single ending in the book, and it didn't end on any of them. You had like the referee getting knocked out, you had the cage getting opened up, you had all these different like endings, and none of them were an ending. And like you said, remember what happened in that match earlier? But no, this whole match was really
started
good.
Out really hot, like you see for example that big suplex, and you said it was a double bump because he hits like the cage, and then also like the fall was not pretty at all. So yeah, that was really
and
cool.
Even when he kind of did that like white noise Samoan drop onto the ring steps too.
That was cool.
You know, that looked like it hurt Drew almost more than it hurt Lashley.
And and like, oh no, let me take the Samoa Joe look.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that was for NXT. That's for NXT. Like you said, even Drew like using like the cane right there with like Bobby Lashley took the cane out of MVP, so like he beat him up with that. I said these two guys actually use the cage more to their advantage. So that's cool, and also like the intensity and violence. You saw that in this match because Drew also you probably saw at the ending of it like that he had marks all over his back. So you saw like that they did beat each other up, and like Lashley and Drew have like chemistry from back in the days of Impact, so they know what they need to do to keep evolving in matches and keep delivering good shows. So I like that. And you say like you saw the chairs also, but like you said, MVP got involved. We got to see like MVP getting in the ring. Future Shock DDT for him. He did hit the Claymore on Lashley. He did hit the Claymore on MVP. And then you got to see like this big spot. The spot with the chairs was really good too when they broke also the chairs and the table. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, I mean, just this whole match that you said is, McIntyre had all the chairs in the ring, and he goes to go off the top rope with one of the chairs to knock Lashley, but he catches him in the hurt lock, but then he throws him into the turnbuckle, breaks that. Like you said, he hit the Future Shock DDT, but he hit that when there was no ref because he got like poked in the eye or hit in the eye, and he swung and he knocked out the ref, and you think, oh, that's when MVP's going to come in, and because he has a spare set of keys, and okay, is this the ending? No, this was only like, little did we know, this was like what, halfway through the match, and this was still pretty early on. And like you said, there was just the brutality from all this, and MVP got involved a lot. So I don't know if if McIntyre is going to say, oh, this doesn't count because he didn't follow my rule, he wasn't supposed to get involved. I don't really know what they're going to do, but up until this point, it was a lot of screwy stuff going on. The other ref comes in and everything, but the match was good and the violence and the intensity was there. That's why I said this was the one match that it don't matter what the pay-per-view was, you could have this could have been a Hell in a Cell match.
No, and then this actually was Hell in a Cell. It needed to be in a Hell in a Cell because the championship is involved, and we know even like our buddy Corny, he always says that the main thing that you have in a company is the gold, is the main championship. So that's why you're going to have it on Hell in a Cell. And I like that. But in the end, like you said, the most brutal finisher in the WWE right now, the roll-up. That's what it is. A roll-up is the most brutal and effective finisher in the WWE.
Did MVP hit him or something at the end, or was it just like a clean like roll-up?
He distracted him. Yeah, he was kind of like, if you think about it, like very similar to WrestleMania without him talking, but it was like more like kind of pulling the ties or something. And then Bobby Lashley did like the the roll up and 1, 2, 3, and he gets the win. And what's gonna happen with Drew now? Can he challenge ever again? I don't think so. It's done.
Yeah, I mean, it's done. The only thing, like I said at Monday Night Raw, if Drew doesn't win here, maybe you do Lashley and Lesnar. You build that up, and then Lesnar wins at SummerSlam, and then you do these two guys later on down the road, or you build them again for WrestleMania again with crowd. You put Drew over him again. I really don't know, but it's tough to say. But I mean, the other thing would be if you can't get a Rock and you can't get a Cena, and those guys aren't long term, they're not going to be your champ for months and months. Get Drew on some, and you're not going to do Edge. If Edge isn't going to beat Roman, none of these other guys, you're not bringing Daniel Bryan back. You're not doing it to Cesaro. Bring Roman Reigns over to have him win the Elimination Chamber, and then him and Roman at WrestleMania. I know WrestleMania isn't until, next year, but, I don't really know what you do. I think,
they need the draft. They need the draft. Although, there's a lot of rumors, like you said, and we can talk about it, and then we will be leaving you guys. But like Brock Lesnar is very close to sign a deal. Very interesting. They said that he was backstage. There was a rumor he was not backstage, but like they said he was gonna come up. That's a big one. Karrion Kross also, like he had a dark match with Dolph Ziggler, and also Bronson Reed had a match with Bobby Roode. The officials are really impressed, so they're gonna fast track him. So don't be, surprised if he loses the title in the next takeover, and then he goes to the main roster. So that could be another one. He could be challenging either, going against Drew, going against Bobby Lashley. You never know. But you see, there's alternatives. There's a lot of things that they can do, and like you said, Aleister Black also. There's a lot of people that are trying to get him back. So either he goes into the main event title picture, or maybe he goes back to Big E. Who knows? But there's alternatives because a lot of people in the social media waves are actually pissed off that McIntyre has had so many championship opportunities. And I think it's time for Drew maybe to take a break.
Yeah, I mean, you could have had him take a break. You know, like you could have stopped this feud even after WrestleMania, and then just had Drew go do something else. But you know, I don't know what maybe he could have been the U.S. champ. He could have went for that belt, or he could have just, you know, had a feud with some guy that wasn't for the title, done something else, and then somehow found his way back to the title. Maybe, you know, if Lesnar came back, Lesnar beat Bobby, and then, you know, Drew can challenge Lesnar or something, you know. But I do agree it was too much. You know, it was like Charlotte, and that's why I even say in the Monday Night Raw review, we start to get a little bit of like sour on Drew. We're like, Drew, you know, you don't feel
Drew,
like legit.
Drew,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so like you know, he's had his time. It's unfortunate for him that like he had to be the champion throughout the pandemic. But hey, like you said, somehow they didn't give him a few months off, and then he can come back and find himself in the title picture one more time. But you know, this is what we see to close the show. Family, Bobby Lashley remains as champion. They're doing right for Bobby Lashley, and that's fine. The guy has had his best year. He's on fire, physique-wise, quality matches, you know, understanding of the business, like all of that, psychology of the match. He's on fire. Like he didn't rule out a reunion of the Hurt Business one more time. That could be good also. So we'll see what happens. Like Lesnar seems to be the right guy to just come back and then be the one challenging for SummerSlam. It makes all the sense in the world. So, you know, that's what we have for you guys. So, you know, any closing thoughts, Paul?
No, and you know what? Even though I was saying, oh, you know, you bring back Lesnar and act like he's just going to beat Bobby the first match, what I really would like to see is Lashley go over Lesnar. You bring Lesnar back, and then, you know, Bobby beats him. You know, really put over Lashley. But, you know, I don't know if Brock's going to agree to do that. You know, some guys I think he would. Other guys he'd be like, screw that, I'm Brock Lesnar.
I mean, you know, for example, see, like AEW did it in MMA. You could do that, something like very similar to that. You know, it wasn't the greatest match in the world, but like Wardlow and Jake Hager had something. So it could be like a good match right there. But I don't know. You said Lesnar comes right back and he's like, oh, I'm going to put over Bobby Lashley. Maybe not. Maybe down the line. Maybe Survivor Series time.
Well, hopefully they bring back Lesnar, and maybe Lesnar, his first feud is with Drew.
Yeah.
Maybe he feuds with Drew non-title, and maybe he beats Drew, and then, I mean, maybe you turn Drew heel.
Yeah. That would be also like it's time for Drew to like be a change because, again, the character is getting stale. So, family, thank you so very much for being with us one more time. Thank you for the 1,000 subscriptions. You know, we're really beyond excitement, you know, beyond excited. You know, we just like really, really thankful to every single one of you. One more time, the fathers in the house. Happy Father's Day. We hope you guys enjoy this review and every single thing that we do. Don't forget, tomorrow is going to be like the Spanish version of it. It's going to be Jean-Paul, myself, also talking about Broken Skull Sessions with Mick Foley. Really great stuff. We watched also the documentary on A&E. A lot of things. Where else can you find us, Paul?
And don't forget to follow us, Rope Break, on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast, the home of 1,000 subscribers in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break. Don't forget, subscribe, and, you know, have a great night. You and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...